Trojan Sports Now.
Hello, welcome to another edition of Trojan Sports Now. I'm Jahmal Kennedy.
And I'm Ryan Renfrow. Stick around as we bring you the latest news and scores from Troy Athletics. Hello again, we are back with another night of Trojan Sports, and boy was it a busy weekend all across the board. Starting things off, it not only was a busy weekend, but also a weekend of redemption for the Trojan football team and its road matchup against the Idaho Vandals. Now rewind the clock to this time last season when the Vandals came to Troy and handed the Trojans a homecoming loss. But as you can see, this time around, things were a little different.
Our kids never blinked. They overcame adversity.
It was a Trojan victory that ended in a final score of 34-13, with the Trojan offense finishing with over 500 yards. But as for that Trojan offense, the game itself didn't start on the right foot.
Offense fumbles on the first play of the game. I don't think I've ever been a part of a game or an offense that did that.
And after the Trojan fumble, it was up to the defense to come up with an answer.
The defense comes out and holds them to a field goal. I thought that was the biggest series of the game.
Despite the early fumble, it was a win that saw the Trojan offense rush for over 150 yards on the ground.
The biggest benefit we have right now is we're able to run the football. And so defenses have to respect our run game. We're getting people kind of trying to clog the box.
And with the Vandals clogging the box, the Trojan offense went to the air, with junior quarterback Brandon Silvers throwing for 373 yards.
What that enabled us to do in the first half was throw the football, and then we had a big play right out the gate in the second half on the first play, and then we were able to get our run game really established.
And with the win, the Trojans are now 2-0 in Sun Belt Conference play.
With us coming out here and really just showing up for the people that came, I'm really proud of it.
Now let's talk a little more about this Trojan team. Specifically, I do want to bring notice to sophomore Blaze Brown, a Trojan who on Saturday intercepted the Vandals twice, adding to his season total of 4. So why is this a big deal? Well, he now leads the country in interceptions. And as a Trojan, as a team, the Trojans are now 4-1 on the season and 2-0 in conference play as they head into this week's bye week.
The Troy soccer team was in action just 3 hours east of Atlanta over in Statesboro, Georgia against Georgia Southern. And when was the last time this Trojan soccer team didn't go into overtime? Sunday's game was the 4th consecutive match the Trojans have gone into OT, and it was a game that sent the Trojans home packing with their 6th loss of the season. Troy's Julia Winter scored the only goal for the Trojans in the 72nd minute. Her first career goal was a Trojan, and it came at a pretty good time. The Eagles tacked on the first goal of the game in the 62nd minute and finished the game off in the 102nd minute. Once again, the Trojans have played in 4 straight overtime matches and have gone into overtime in 6 of their last 7 outings.
The Trojan volleyball team is back in action over the weekend in Atlanta, looking to snap its 7-game losing streak. The Trojans fell to Georgia State on Friday by a final score of 3-2 and looked to rebound against Georgia Southern on Saturday. The Trojans fell behind 7-3 in the first set and fought their way to within 1 point several times throughout the set, but it was Georgia Southern that clinched the first set by a final of 25-23. And in the second set, the Trojans fell behind 18-10 and never gained the lead, losing the second set. And the third and final set saw Georgia Southern go on a 10-2 run, clinching the match with a 25-16 victory. Some positives to take away from Saturday's matchup: senior Simone Shaw led the Trojans with 7 kills, and as a team, Troy tallied 5 service aces.
And even though it wasn't an easy weekend for the volleyball team, losing both their 2 matches, head coach Senator Kirkpatrick was very pleased in the play of his team and mentioned how they even got back to square one.
We got back to some basics and competed pretty well. Lost in 5 to Georgia State, but we did things a lot better than what we did the week before. So it was good to get back to kind of the way we do things. And then Saturday we played against Georgia Southern. Had 2 bad calls by referees that were totally out, and we lost the first game 25-23. Competed in the next 2, but they were a little bit better than us going into that night. So we'll get a chance to see them here in a couple weeks.
After the 2 weekend losses, the Trojans' record fell to 6-13.
The Trojan volleyball team returned to Trojan Arena Wednesday night to take on Tennessee in a match televised on ESPN3. And despite some close matches, the Trojans couldn't pull out a win against the Volunteers. The Trojans fell to Tennessee 3-0 on Wednesday night at Trojan Arena, despite a trio of Trojans tallying 7 kills in the match. The Trojans lost by scores of 25-21, 25-23, and 25-19. Simone Shaw, Logan Page, and Leah Causey each had 7 kills on the night. The trio led the team in that category, and Page had a .312 hitting percentage. Attendance reached a 2016 high for Trojan volleyball as 774 came out to support the Trojans.
The Trojan cross country team was out on the trail Saturday at the JSU Foothills Cross Country Invitational. It walks away with a 3rd place Red Division finish on the men's side. And the 5th place Red Division finished on the women's side. For the men, Daniel Glick and Sawyer Sprung notched 2 top 15 finishes to highlight the day. Sprung finished in 9th place overall with a time of 25 minutes and 31.9 seconds in the 8K race, and Glick was just behind in 11th place at 25 minutes, 35.9 seconds. Leading the way for the women was senior Samantha Smith, who had the top finish for the Trojans at 18 minutes, 47.2 seconds in the 5K event for 21st place.
And the Troy women's golf team finished in a tie for 5th place at the Johnny Imes Invitational after play concluded Tuesday. Outstanding performers included senior Fatima Fernandez-Cano, who finished tied for 2nd individually, and the star of last week's Trojan Sports Now interview segment, sophomore Lindsey Harrison. Harrison had the shot of the day as she nailed a hole-in-one from 132 yards out at the 12th hole. The native of Panama City Beach, Florida, also birdied in her round to tie with teammate Bianca Lobauer for 39th place. Host team Missouri took home the 1st place finish as Troy tied with Mercer for 5th place.
And it was serves up for the men's tennis team, who was back on the courts for their first fall tournament in H-Town, Houston, Texas. The Rice Invitational, as a matter of fact, where head coach Scott Kidd said he was very pleased with the play of his team in a deep field.
You know, there was a lot of depth in the tournament, but I was very, very excited how the first day we went out, because we've only got to practice 2 weeks as coaching staff with them because of the 20-hour-a-week rule. So I was very, very excited, and just what I seen. The guys were very poised. They're very focused. The first day we won all the doubles matches. We went undefeated in doubles and then opened up in singles.
Top performers over the weekend included Andre Baldo and Gabriel Nicolescu. Nicolescu, the transfer from Chicago State, won matches in singles and doubles over the weekend. Troy didn't lose a set in any competition.
And the women's tennis team was back in Trojan territory for classes and a rest after a weekend that saw one Trojan, sophomore Hannah Caesar, finish in third in the Georgia Southern Invitational. It was the doubles play that surprised head coach Rawia El-Sisi the most. Let's take a listen.
They did well from coming back from the summer, not competing, last competition in April, and the results in doubles they were 3-1. They beat they beat 2 double teams in a row from Georgia Southern. So that's I was proud of what they did in the doubles play.
Sophomore Luisa Ferrati and senior Alicia Rodriguez got the winning going in doubles competition with a 6-1 win over UNC Asheville. The pair also bounced back for a consolation draw after defeating Georgia Southern 7-5. Coach El-Sisi says that she took only 3 Trojans to the Invitational, the 3rd Trojan being sophomore Hannah Caesar. So to come on Trojan Sports Now, we'll have a preview of both the Trojan volleyball teams and soccer teams matchup against rival opponent South Alabama.
The first round, Renfrow sits down with golfer Becca Horner. Stick around. More Trojan Sports Now is coming your way.